Welcome back to another episode of What Are We Watching? What's your favorite color? What is your favorite
Green? I don't know, dude.
color?
I don't know.
You don't have one? Camo.
I don't know, dude. Colors are cool. Purple.
Purple?
Yeah.
Camo. I just love being hidden.
Yeah, dude. Like, there's some camo shorts on.
Hell yeah, brother.
No, purple.
Purple?
Yeah,
Final
purple
answer.
and then orange. Then purple and orange together.
So Halloween colors.
Is it?
Purple, orange, and black are like classic Halloween colors.
Yeah. So purple and then orange.
And then orange.
What's your favorite color?
I don't know. Probably blue.
But yeah, what's your favorite color?
Yeah, that's what I was getting
Yeah, you
at.
should have said that.
No, it's just funnier to be like, what's your favorite color?
What's your favorite
and then
color?
you were
You
like,
said blue?
oh. Yeah, blue.
I don't know. You caught me off guard. You do it every time.
Yeah, that's the point. I got to keep you gussing. But I feel like blue is such like a, every guy's favorite color is blue.
Like, yeah, blue. Like, oh,
Be
like
like,
that.
oh,
I'm like,
dude,
nice
nothing
pair.
like-
Nothing like a nice pair of jeans.
Nothing like a nice pair of khakis and a blue button down.
You have.
Yeah.
You're like Doug Funny. That's the only outfit you have.
What are you talking about?
You have like, you know how Doug Funny just you go to his closet.
Who's Doug Funny?
What?
I don't know who Doug Funny is. Wait, keep doing
Doug
it?
the show?
Doug Funny.
The show, Doug? What do you mean?
Oh, that kid. Yeah.
So you never
He's got this-
played Magic Cards and you never watched Doug.
he's
What
got
kind
the
of
sweater vest.
childhood did you have?
All right. So Keith's clowning me because I never played Magic the Gathering, and I just bought 2 starter
No, it's actually
decks.
cool that you didn't play it. It's probably that's
do you
probably why
mean?
you're married.
No, that's
Yeah,
not it
no, it
at
is.
all.
Because if
This
you were
is all
playing
stuff
Magic
she
Cards,
found
when
out
she-
after the
oh,
fact.
if you were playing Magic Cards, if you like had your little cards in their little
like, "Oh."
protectors, and Emily's like, "Oh, hi, Nick. Oh,
Yeah.
you seem cool," but then you turn around and like, "Hey, so I'm gonna meet you at the card shop after work, and we can play. I have a couple extra decks and some dice."
You know what I did?
She would have said, "Oh, cool. I'll never speak to that guy again."
Great. You know what it was? The one thing that I did think was really funny when when you came by my desk and I like unloaded the 20 plus years of Diablo 2 knowledge on you at my desk. I was like, wasn't that crazy? She was like, I just had to tune it out to keep respect
Yeah,
for you.
you can't do that in front of her. You
Yeah.
have like a solid life.
I'd hate to see you throw it
No,
away.
for real, dude. Just don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Like, keep your little placemat at work and like
Yeah. I
Just
do have my
bounce
little
it off me,
Diablo
you
2
know what I mean?
placemat at work.
put your headset on at night when she's asleep and
Yeah.
do a
watch
couple
my
raids or whatever.
watch my little shows in 2-minute increments on my phone in the bathroom.
No, but I'm just saying, like Diablo by yourself or with your friends is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you have such a good thing going. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't be asking her like if she's gonna play.
You got such a good life. It's just great.
Nah, you know
Anyway,
what I mean.
all right, man. What movies have you been watching? Oh wait, so today's movie. I don't know how we do this. I don't know how
We always do this.
So this is our 31st
But luckily that
episode.
when someone clicks on this episode, it's going to tell the name of it.
Yeah.
So they know what it is
They
ahead of
know.
time, but we never talk about it until afterwards. Like, oh yeah, what are we doing again?
So we were watching the 2003 Christmas comedy directed by John Favreau.
Jean Favreau.
Elf.
Elf.
So what have you been watching? Have you done any Christmas movies? Any holiday movies in general?
The last Christmas movie I watched before this was Christmas Vacation, and then Silent Night,
last episode?
Deadly Night Part 1 and 2.
That's pretty solid.
I did go see Godzilla.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's supposed to. I guess it's high up on the list for movies this year. It was really good.
Yeah.
I hadn't. This is a Japanese Godzilla movie, just to be clear, because it is different from the American ones. So the
Okay.
American ones only started in '98. Yeah, '98 was the one with the awesome soundtrack.
I didn't know you were gonna.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, big time, yeah.
And then they had the reboots that came out. There's
Yeah,
a few
I
of
feel
them.
like there was.
Those are
I liked the
American-
reboots. I thought they were kind of cool.
Yeah, they're all right.
They did what
It's
they
cool.
could.
So this is awesome.
It was good.
So they rebooted the Japanese Godzilla was rebooted in again 2014. So it was
Okay.
Shin Godzilla, and I think this is like the 5th one of that like era. There's 3 different eras.
Okay.
I don't know why nobody gives a shit.
You got a
is what
good
I'm
thing
saying.
going on at home, Keith. Don't ruin it.
So there's like from 1954 on, there's Godzilla movies, mostly Japanese until the little remake, whatever the American one is.
Yeah.
I liked it as a kid, but it's probably not.
It
a
probably
good
doesn't
movie.
hold up.
And the new ones are
historically
fine.
speaking.
I don't know. The King Kong movie, I think, is better than the Godzilla movies. The new
What, like the
Kong Island or Skull Island?
Oh, Skull Island.
That movie was awesome.
The King Kong that Peter Jackson did was really good too.
See, I don't remember it.
You don't remember that one?
Like I saw it.
It was
probably?
Jack Black was in it.
Yeah,
Adrian Brody was it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I saw it.
That one was
My
pretty
brain
good.
also doesn't work though. So
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? So as far as new movies, since the last time we talked, I watched that.
Yeah.
I will say, funny thing that happened though is we went to a recliner where we saw Terrifier. It was the same theater we saw Terrifier, in. And it's those luxurious seats. So we were in the back row, and before we got there, these people were like on the other side, but instead of walking through the normal seats, like the normal passageways where there's steps,
Where you're
they
like designated. To
there's like enough space to scoot behind the back seats, but you're definitely not supposed to go there.
In the very back
They
row.
scooted behind the back seats and they inadvertently kicked out all the plugs for the recliners. So my friends were already there. Their recliners were stuck in the position that they were in until they had to get up, and because they realized they couldn't move them.
Did you guys say anything to them? Like, hey man, why
No.
didn't you just be normal? Like, you don't have to like side
Well, because
shuffle.
we got in there. We got in there as the movie was starting, so we couldn't say anything. But like ours weren't moving at all. We couldn't get them out of the normal position. So our friend had to crawl back there and plug them back in, and we were just dying. So we watched the movie, but
bizarre.
I will say the reclining chairs they have there are so
Yeah.
comfortable. It's dangerous.
It's an AMC theater,
Dude,
right?
I was like, it was like
They have them in a couple, and
it
like
was 2 p.m.
5
seconds in, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna fall asleep.
I think this morning you came, like, we were just chatting about movies and stuff. You're like, yeah, I think all of us fell asleep at different parts.
Yeah, we did, because we all said, like, yo, did you fall asleep at all? And all four, and the movie's really good, but all four of us, because it was so comfortable, like it's the right angle. It's like got that little neck pillow, and you're just
that
like,
neck pillow.
I'm like, no, I'm like fighting in the beginning.
I think that neck pillow, if that wasn't there, it wouldn't be as comfortable. It like relaxes your neck in such a way you can feel like your
I feel
spine
relaxing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no,
I think that's a ploy. They want you to fall asleep, so you have to go back and see the movie.
I'm not going back.
No, I'm never going
I'm
back.
gonna come back. So what I was saying to you earlier was, it's in Japanese, English subtitles. I've watched so many movies in subtitles. That's not a problem. But one funny thing is watching a movie when you're tired with subtitles, because if it's in the language that you even understand slightly,
well, you said
like,
if your eyes are closed, if your eyelids are really heavy, you can still hear what's going on.
Yeah, you're like, okay, all right, I gotta take 30 seconds. All right. But like, you have no idea what they're saying at that point. You have no idea what's happening.
You just hear like old dialogue, and you're like, hell yeah!
Oh yeah,
man.
cool. Oh wow, like, that's crazy.
No idea what's going on.
But like, I mean, it's not like I slept through the whole movie. There was just like parts where there was like dialogue, and I'm like,
how long was it? Was it a long movie?
it's like 2 and change.
That's pretty.
But like,
good.
we all fell asleep at different parts, which is funny.
So you collectively all saw one full movie.
Yeah. No, I think we all saw 95% of the movie. There was just like one part where each of us were just like,
So you all had to like take a turn on watch.
yeah.
Or
But it was really good. And then at the end of the movie, the same people that walked behind the seats again.
why? Like why?
I don't know.
That's so weird.
Like there's steps. Their steps were literally 1 foot to the left.
It's not like these are. It's not like it's a stadium where the row is 400
and you're like,
seats.
oh man,
You're
that's
like, let me just
because if you think about it, you're walking the same distance.
Yeah.
It's just like which side of the square you're gonna walk down, the side that you're supposed to, or the side you're gonna like crawl.
Or
Like, what, are you gonna army crawl next time?
You're gonna go rogue.
Fucking dipshits.
That's
but
pretty
anyways,
wild.
that was funny. That was a good movie though.
I'm glad.
It was cool. So now I'm gonna go back and there's a couple. I mean, there's a lot of Godzilla movies I haven't seen. So
Yeah, that's gonna be your next project.
I wouldn't say it's my next project. So I'm not like a Godzilla nut like some people are. Like it's cool.
Yeah,
It's great.
but you're not.
But I'm not like it's not like
It'd just
my-
be cool to see.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. I think.
I'm sorry, that was way too long.
No, that was the perfect amount of time for Godzilla.
Was it? I'm just trying to watch Better Call Saul. All right. Anyways, what did you watch?
I really haven't watched anything.
All right.
I mean,
So I'll just go back to me.
I
you back to
yield
me.
my time to. No, but the next thing that I want to start doing is I want to start watching all of A24's movies because they've really gotten a lot of them out there.
It's a
and I was
lot.
doing good. I've really liked I like all of the movies that I've seen by them. But there's a lot of like early ones that I haven't seen. And early, I mean like 2013, 2014. Like that's when they started.
Spring Breakers was the first time.
Yeah. And that movie was it was fine. But
I like that.
it was fine. So that's
It's
gonna be my next.
It's really
like,
off-putting.
that's gonna be my next little project of just going through all those movies. But I did want to shout out. So we completely glossed over it in the last episode, but we are at over 30 episodes of the show. That's pretty wild. Isn't
It is wild.
Yeah, we've been
You guys still listening?
we've appreciated all the love, and if you guys are enjoying it, you want to give us some feedback, definitely share us around. We reach out, You can email us at whatdowewatchin, or send an email to whatdowewatchin@gmail.com. Yeah, we just appreciate it. Thought I'd give ourselves a little shout out. So Keith, should we get into the movie for today?
I'm just trying to think if I saw anything else
Yeah.
that's worth talking about. Oh yeah, I saw a couple. I'm just trying to think of newer stuff that I saw.
Yeah. Give me one more.
I'm gonna give you two.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
maybe
one more.
That's fine.
Well, we watched Black Swan. Okay, so we went to go see Moulin Rouge,
The Broadway
show,
Yeah.
because that's one of Olivia's favorite movies.
Yes.
Took her for her little birthday thing.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I was like totally in on that.
Yeah.
So then
Broadway's pretty rad.
Then
It's good times.
I don't know why I even. Oh yeah, so I realized that Broadway's pretty cool.
I don't even know.
I don't hate musicals as much as I thought
Yeah.
I did.
You were really passionate about hating musicals.
I don't think they're actually as bad. It depends on what the musical is.
Yeah, well, I said...
Like, am I going to watch Mamma Mia? I don't know. Maybe now I will.
Mamma Mia is a good movie.
Oh,
the music of ABBA? Stop.
Please. Come on. I give you like an inch and you just take 8 miles.
And I take a Mamma Mia. No,
Speaking of 8 miles, did you hear that someone went on Eminem's Wikipedia page today and
yesterday
said that he died? And then the whole world just freaked out and then they realized that he didn't die and he's still alive.
Yeah.
Thank God.
R.I.P. JK.
Yeah,
you know?
He's still here. I was going to have to take off work.
I still might. I don't know.
Still might. Just because I was so
Just
freaked
because
out.
I was so frazzled.
What
by
was
the whole
this? I'm
situation.
sorry, but musicals are cool. But like, just give me. I'm putting my feet in. Don't drown me.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so let's start in this movie. So Elf, 2003. Would you like to go over the cast, or do you want me to cover it? No, I have to do my little spiel first.
Well, can I say that it's done by Jon Favreau?
Yes, directed by Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
Written by David Barenbaum. He did The Haunted Mansion, Zoom. He did The Spiderwick Chronicles, if you remember that strange movie.
I'm gonna go ahead and say can't say I've seen that one.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
I have seen The Haunted Mansion though with Eddie Murphy though. That's a good one.
Very, very good. Directed by Jon Favreau, which he's basically the reason why modern movies were only Marvel for 15 years. Would you say? I do love John. I keep wanting to say Jean.
Well, I don't.
John
Do you think he knew what was going to happen when he made the Iron Man movie?
No. So he did Iron Man
1, 2, and then wrote
1 and 2.
Then he wrote 3 too.
He is currently doing The Mandalorian. He's the writer, director, and producer of The Mandalorian, which is kind of wild.
Just wild.
Even his acting career is insane. But this isn't the Jon Favreau show.
I mean, we can make it that.
That's true. So this was released in 2003. It's about an hour and a half. The budget was $33 million, and the box office, this is fucking wild, $225 million is what this made.
Is that so? When box office, does that mean just in the theater?
I think so.
Or is that like?
I think that's
Dear
in
God.
the theater.
So that really was
insane.
the movie. Did you see it in theaters?
Yeah, when I was I was young when this came out, but yeah,
I don't know if I
remember seeing this
did.
in theaters.
'Cause I was 15. Maybe I did.
Yeah, you might have been a little.
I've just seen it so many times now that I have no idea if I saw it. I don't even know.
But this is one of those movies that I think is like come out in recent times that is on the same tier as like, this might be a hot take, as like A Christmas Story, where it's like it is on every single year,
It might
no
be
matter
bigger
what.
than it might have. Finally
passed
passed it.
Yeah,
But
you know what I mean.
Do you think
though?
this
It's
is the
one of those
biggest
movies.
Christmas movie?
I
think it's the one that
so.
I think it's the one that collectively like anybody likes.
Yeah, I feel like the older crowd is probably going to say Christmas Story.
I don't know.
People around our age, it's probably Elf. Our grandparents is probably like White Christmas or.
Because you're gonna find someone that tells you Jingle All the Way. You're gonna find someone that
No one's going to say Jingle All the Way.
What do you mean?
I love that movie, but you're going to tell me
Like your favorite one to watch, not the best one. Your favorite one to watch.
be like,
People are gonna
dude,
say
I
Home
love-
Alone, Home Alone
Yeah.
2. People are gonna say Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story.
You know what they're not going to say? You know who killed it? Sinbad in his role in Jingle All the Way.
He's an angry mailman.
That's wild.
Angry mail.
But
man.
Yeah, an angry mailman for sure. Mailman.
What else? What else was I
Other
gonna say?
Christmas movies? Christmas Vacation.
Christmas with the Cranks.
Christmas with the Cranks. Shout out to my
What's the other one I really like?
wife.
Deck the Halls.
That's a
Fred
good one.
Claus. The Santa
Frank
Claus.
Did you say?
Fred Claus.
Fred Claus. Yeah.
That's what I said.
The Santa Claus is good.
Santa Claus
That
2.
Did you see that Jack Frost movie with that weird one with Michael Keaton?
Dude, it is devastating.
Yeah, that movie is brutal.
It's a great movie, but
Yeah.
it will make you.
You're gonna be feeling something you don't want to feel.
That's tough. That's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't even want to watch it again.
No, and I should, and I'm not gonna. So
And I love Keaton.
I do too. So the cast for Elf Mr. Will Ferrell. I would say this is besides Ron Burgundy, probably one of his most iconic roles.
Yeah, I think this is probably the biggest because everybody likes this movie.
Yeah, this is a universally loved.
You don't
movie.
have to say like, oh yeah, oh you're weird. Oh, you like a teenager. You like Anchorman. You like Step Brothers. And like adults, like, oh, I'm not watching that nonsense. But everybody's gonna watch this.
Everyone
right?
loves Elf,
right?
Big time. Oh, sure. So Will Ferrell plays Buddy the Elf, or Buddy Hobbs. James Caan plays Walter Hobbs, Buddy's dad. He was for his role in Godfather 1 and 2. He was Sonny in Godfather 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's kind of a
Sonny Corleone.
It's kind of crazy that
he decided to do this movie.
Yeah.
So when I watched a little interview with Will Ferrell, it was kind of like a behind the scenes thing. Behind the scenes, Will Ferrell was a huge Godfather fan, and so he was like, the fact that I got to work with James Caan was just unreal. R.I.P. He has since passed. Zooey Deschanel plays Jovi. She was only 23 when this movie came out. Isn't that wild? This was her third movie.
She does look very young in this.
Yeah, it's just kind of like crazy.
I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, she's like very young.
Yeah, she's very young in this movie. Mary Steenburgen, she was plays the mom. Emily Hobbs also plays the mom in Step Brothers, which I like to think that they just enjoyed working with each other so much that they were like, let's get this duo back together.
I heard that there's more to it.
Really?
Yeah. So like,
do you want to get into it now?
Sure. I mean, I'm only going to say what I heard, but
yeah.
So Mary Steenburgen is actually Will Ferrell's mother, and
what?
Yeah. So like that's what happened. So they actually she's portrayed like other mothers of other kids in other movies, but between Elf and Step Brothers, it's like that's kind of why they recasted her.
It's such. I wonder how many people we had being like, "Oh my god, is this?" Dude, you that was good. You held out for longer than I thought.
I'm gonna fucking cry over here. I was like wondering if I could say that or not. I had this whole thing.
Yeah. And
I'll come back to it. I mean,
yeah, that's fine.
I'll come back to it. Just
strongly
try to edit that so I don't laugh, and then we'll just go to the next fact.
That's fine. So Ed Asner plays Santa Claus, and he was in the Mary Tyler Moore Show. He's basically just an old actor. Seems like he was a pretty cool guy. Bob Newhart plays Papa Elf, which I found out he is still alive. Bob Newhart. I think. Let me see how old he is. Yeah, he's 94, which is wild. Daniel Tay as Michael Hobbs, who's Buddy's half brother. Faison Love as Wanda, the manager of Gimbals and Jovi's boss. So in this movie, just as a fun fact, his name is Wanda. Wanda Sykes was supposed to play him, but she pulled out at the last minute. But they kept her name just as like a nice homage to it, which she would have been awesome.
Do they say the name is Wanda in the movie?
It's on his name tag. Yeah, it's on his name tag. Peter Dinklage plays Miles Finch. I'm just trying to call out some other people. Yeah. He's awesome.
And then Andy Richter and Kyle
Gass play like the assistants of or coworkers to Walter, that's just so funny to me.
Oh, and you got to give it up for Artie Lang.
Oh yeah, big time, dude.
Yeah, him as the mall Santa destroys me.
Yeah, that is pretty. That whole scene's really funny.
You smell of beef and cheese.
You don't smell like Santa. Yeah, how would you like to be dead? But anyway, did you have any fun facts about this movie? Before we started?
So there was when they're like when you watch it, there's like a huge size discrepancy between obviously Will Ferrell and any of the elves.
Oh yeah,
but,
yeah.
So the shots of him and Bob Newhart as the Papa Elf, they seem like he's like they did some kind of like magic, but that's really their size difference.
Isn't it like, I thought it was like a little bit of like forced perspective too.
No, it's their real size difference. That's how much bigger he actually is than Bob Newhart in real life. Because he's a giant.
I mean, he is pretty
tall. He's like 6'5", and Bob Newhart's like a real small guy. So when they put Bob Newhart on that, like that sled's actually that size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I just made all of that up. That's not true at all.
They use forced perspective to get all their
for
shots. Sure. Dude, you're in a little silly mood.
Oh, I got so much more.
Spreading misinformation.
No. Just going by what the fans are saying.
By what the truth they don't want us to hear about.
There's a lot of that in this movie, you know what I mean? Like,
big time.
Family movie, for sure.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, wait until you find out what they don't want you to know.
This is a good one. What, do you have any other fake facts that you want to spread?
Oh, no. I only got real stuff. I'll spread real stuff throughout the...
I'll spread real stuff. Is that just what you want us to think?
No, well, I mean, you can decide what you want. Everyone's got Google.
Oh, yeah.
You want to fact check us, that's fine.
So this movie, the one thing I did think was pretty funny, the guy, the writer David Berenbaum, who wrote the movie, he wrote the script in the 90s. This was written early 90s. He actually had Chris Farley and Jim Carrey as two people that he thought should play Buddy the Elf, which I think seeing Chris Farley as Buddy the Elf would have been insane.
Oh my
Equally,
God.
I think Jim Carrey would have done an awesome job as Buddy the Elf. But yeah, I just thought that would have been really fun.
I think it would have been funnier if Chris Farley was Santa.
Yeah. And he's just like
trying to shove himself into a little suit.
He would have been great as the mall Santa.
Oh,
how funny would that have
fat guy and little guy.
been? Richard. That's wild. So anyway, do you want to get into the cast? A little the little plotterooski? The story?
We already did the cast. I was like thinking it was Groundhog's Day. I was like,
One more time
from the top. Yeah, and it's really Will Ferrell's mother. Mary Steenburgen. Really? I mean,
who knows?
No one's seen Will Ferrell's mother and Mary Steenburgen in the same room. So I mean,
yeah, I don't know. All right, moving right along to the plot. So the movie opens on Christmas Eve. A baby living in an orphanage crawls into Santa Claus's sack of gifts. At the sight of a teddy bear, he sees a little toy and decides to crawl in after it. And he's unwittingly taken back to the North Pole. He's basically discovered in the workshop, and the elves name him Buddy because he has little Buddy diapers on.
Little Buddy diapers.
He's wearing a little Buddy diapers, and the one goes, "Oh, his name's Buddy." Fucking idiot. So Papa Elf basically adopts him. So it's kind of weird. Bob Newhart plays Papa Elf. He's narrating at the beginning, and he's kind of telling the story of Buddy. It's like he's reading a children's book of like the story of Buddy the Elf, basically. So he's reading it, and he's like, yeah, and there was one elf who always wanted a family of his own, but like just
he never slowed down to
enjoy it. He basically like threw himself too much into work. So Papa Elf decides to adopt and raise Buddy the Elf. He's basically accepted in the community, the little elf community. He's got his little outfit on, which those outfits, I thought this was cool. The reason they look like that, they were inspired from the 1963 Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the little claymation.
Oh, they look exactly like the elves.
They literally pulled those exact outfits from that as the inspiration
and then,
for the costumes.
When they're outside up there, it's exactly like that kind of.
That's all.
Updated it.
All of the scenery was pulled directly from those old claymation ones.
But there was no narwhal in that though. That's new.
No narwhal.
That's new.
Mr. Narwhal.
Narwhal. Yeah. Sorry.
Mr. Narwhal.
Yeah. So he actually. So the only thing is they say that he grows at an elevated pace, right?
Yeah.
So there's actually discrepancy between this and Francis Ford Coppola's 1997 Jack. You ever see that movie?
No.
You never saw that with Ron Williams?
No.
He's a kid that grows at like 4 times the rate. He's
Wait,
like a
so
full
why is this
adult in
related?
elementary school. Well, because he's growing 4 times faster. So Jon Favreau actually was sued by Francis Ford Coppola for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
and they
wild.
actually had he was able to keep it in the movie because they had like gentleman's agreement that if he could pin him, he could keep it in the movie, and that's how it's still in the movie.
That's how it's still in. That's pretty wild. There's a lot of little nods like that. I think as you see Jon Favreau's like work, he does a lot of nods to people that like inspired him and stuff like that. So that's pretty fun. So as an adult, it kind of flashes forward, and he is just he's a full grown man, still just trying to work as an elf. He basically is really crappy at his job at being an elf. There's a really funny scene where he's making Etch-a-Sketches.
Oh my god!
And he asks the lead elf, Ming Ming, who is played by Ralphie, the guy who plays Ralphie. Did you realize that?
The guy that plays Ralphie.
Ming Ming. What's his name? Peter Billingsley. He plays Ralphie in A Christmas Story, the kid.
Oh,
Ralphie.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
yeah. It looks just like
elf.
him.
He was uncredited in this movie, but that was him, which I thought that was.
Oh my god!
Yeah, cool.
I can close my eyes and see him.
And again, that's because Favreau, like A Christmas Story, was just a nod to his role as Ralphie. So he comes up to him and he's like, "Hey, buddy, how those Etch-a-Sketches coming along?" And he's like, "I made 85 today." And everyone stops, and he opens up this little sheet, and he goes, well, that puts you 100 or 915 off a schedule. So he's basically
do 1,000 of those things a day.
Yeah. So he basically he gets reassigned to the Jack in the Box testing. They basically are like, yeah, don't worry, buddy. Like, you're special. Like, you'll find your place and stuff like that. He is testing Jack in the Boxes. He's moved basically to another department. And this scene's awesome. They keep popping out and scaring him. And then there's one final one where he cranks it up, and then it like pauses for a second, and then it finally goes, and he just freaks out.
I feel like that's what I'm capable of doing. Like, that's the job I'm capable of having.
The Jack in the Box tester?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I should be making the Etch a Sketches, but
but you could test
actually can do is just test Jack in the Boxes.
That'd be, I could see it.
Yeah.
The final one that actually like scared him, that was a remote control. All the other ones were like actual Jack in the Box mechanics, like they would pop out. That last one was remote controlled. So Jon Favreau had that, and he didn't tell Will Ferrell when he was going to pop it.
Oh, so it's really a
surprise.
So
it's literally, he stops it, and he's like, all right. And he just didn't, it was basically like some undetermined amount of time, and then he hit it to spring out at him, scare the shit out of him.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty silly. So while he's testing these, he overhears the elves basically say, like, yeah, it's a shame he hasn't found out that he's human yet. Like, I don't think he's not the brightest guy, you know what I mean? So he finds out that he's human. Basically, the story's out. He goes to Papa Elf, and he says, yep, it's true. I adopted you. This is where your dad lives. He lives in New York City. This is who he is. He hands him a picture. And then he would go to Santa, and Santa then tells him that, like, your dad's on the naughty list. And so he decides to go after him and see his dad. His basically like, I need you to go down there and try and, turn your dad in good, basically. This essentially just starts the whole plot.
And then his father, you find out, ends up being a children's author.
Yeah.
James Caan, the once sunny, now children's author. He's
going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
But he decides that he doesn't want to take a wash of $30,000 on printing a book with the actual pages needed to understand the story.
He's just a huge scumbag.
So you're just like, okay.
So the scene where Santa's like, and your dad, he's on the naughty list, and it basically flashes to his dad being like, look, I don't know what to tell you. You didn't make the payments. We got to take the books back. And on the other end, it's a nun. And she's like, but the children love the books.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite quotes. It's not even like a quote that makes any sense, but the children
love. But his line after that, he's like, oh, don't, I see what you're trying to do, trying to make me feel bad. I'm not the one who missed the payment. Okay. Which is wild. I think it's just trying to paint a picture of like
so he could
how crappy he is.
Yeah, Buddy has a heart of gold, and then he's literally
pure evil.
His heart's 2 sizes too small,
Hey. Yeah, how the Buddy the Elf gave Christmas back.
Oh, get him!
So he travels to New York City. He crosses
Oh my God! Yeah, he's in the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah, but what's the whole speech that he says? He keeps telling people how he got there. He said he traveled through the 7 layers of the candy cane forest, across the sea of swirly twirly gumdrops, and then through the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Pass through the 7 layers. Yeah. Through the sea of swirly twirly gumdrops, and then walk through the Lincoln Tunnel.
But I like how it's really mystical, and then he's super hype about the Lincoln Tunnel.
He's like, the Lincoln Tunnel. And he's just pinned against the side. He probably walks terrifying. Out. And just having to drive the Lincoln Tunnel like a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it's not pleasant.
Ugh.
What a crappy tunnel. So he's now in New York City, and it's basically him just like discovering. So a little bit before Santa gives him a little pep talk about New York City, and he says, what are the rules? It says if you see free gum on the street, or if you see gum on the street, it's not free candy. If you see someone advertising a peep show, that doesn't mean you get to look at presents before Christmas.
And what is it? There's 30 raised pizzas. They all claim to be original, but the original's on 11th.
Which is just like such a funny little.
But then you see him, and the first thing he does after he gets out of Lincoln Tunnel, he's by the subway entrance. He's eating the
gum off of a.
He's like, Santa doesn't know shit.
He doesn't know anything.
And then he goes to the first coffee shop he sees and says, "World's best cup of coffee." Yeah. He's like,
"You did it! Poor Buddy. So he's really just like, he thinks he's stumbled into a wonderland.
Yeah, what else does he do? Oh, he runs around in the revolving door.
He jumps on the street things. He thinks he can only like jump on each of those trying to cross the street. There's a guy hailing a cab, and he's like, "Hi!"
He's just waving
at him. So those scenes I saw, it was just Will Ferrell and Jon Favreau and a camera, and that was it when they filmed those. So all those people on the street are all real people. They basically didn't want to shut down to film because it's expensive to do that, and they didn't want to have to hire all those extras because that would have been such an insane amount of people. So they literally just walked around with a camera and got a couple shots of him doing things like running around in the revolving door and stuff like that. They were literally just film him and see what he does, which I think is pretty wild.
That's pretty cool because he's so tall too. So it's not even just like, oh, there's some weird dude in an elf costume.
Yeah, it's very noticeable. Yeah, just pretty insane. So he finally finds Walter, his dad, at work. He works in the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower. Empire State Building.
It's funny, when I was in New York, I said, "Oh, where's the?" Like I meant to say, I said the same thing that I meant to say.
Really?
Which way's the Empire State Building? But
I said that with such confidence.
The Eiffel Tower. You said it, and I was like,
you looked at me and you were like, "You sure about that? You sure about that?" So he finds him there. He finds where his dad's working. His secretary thinks it's a Christmas gram, so he's just kind of like, "All right, get this over with." He starts singing to him. Confesses that I'm your son. We had Susan Wells had me, and that was an old girlfriend of his. And then they basically call security and throw him out. The one security guard tells him to go back to Gimbel's, which is a nod to the writer of this movie, David Berenbaum. He was originally from Philly, and Gimbel's was a Philadelphia department store, a pretty big one. So that's why he picked Gimbel's, which is just a little.
But then he ends up going to Gimbel's.
He ends up going to Gimbel's.
Okay.
Yeah, but the Gimbel's was it was featured in the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Parade as like every year is like a big thing, and he's from there. A lot of the skyline shots that you see are of the Philadelphia skyline too. Just as a little fun fact.
From Elf?
Yeah, from Elf. There's little scenes where they're doing like little skylines and stuff. Some of them are from Philly. Oh. Yeah, which is just pretty fun. Just a little nod to Philadelphia. Shout out. So anyway,
Philadelphia.
He is then thrown out by two security guards, one of which is Will Ferrell's brother, just as a fun fact.
What?
Yep. He is told to go back to the Gimbel's department store, and it's basically like everyone's dressed as elves. It looks like it's just like kind of a holiday department store type deal, where he meets Jovi, played by Zooey Deschanel. She's basically described as an unenthusiastic employee, which is really tough. Who basically he just sees her and falls head over heels. After a series of really funny dialogue, the manager comes up and says like, "All right, hey man, get back to work." He kind of looks like he blends in there. Get back to work, and just a reminder that like Santa's coming tomorrow. And this is probably, would you say? I think this is probably one of the most iconic scenes of this movie. He's like, 10 a.m. tomorrow, Santa Claus. Do you want to say what happens? You got it. But he screams, "Santa! I know him!" And he's just very excited. And it's supposed to be there the following day. So later that night, the department store closes. Buddy kind of hangs out, and he's like, "There's just so much to be done. Like, we got to decorate." So he goes ham, decorates the entire store, and is just kind of waiting for Santa to appear the next day. He gets in the next day and previously he has a conversation with Jovi about like, "Oh, why do you hate your life right now? Like, it's Christmas, Santa's coming. Like, where's your Christmas spirit?" And he says like, he suggests that she starts singing. He starts awkwardly singing very loudly, and she's like, I know how to sing. I just don't like to. So it's the next day. And did you have anything you want to add?
No. What is he saying? He's like,
"I'm here." Oh wait,
singing.
no, that's. I'm in the store and I'm singing.
I'm in the store and I'm singing.
And then he goes, "Hey, no singing to the North Pole." And he goes, "Yes, there is."
"No, there's not." "Yes, there is." "No, there's not." That's right after he had said like, "This is the North Pole." And he's like, "No, it's not." "Yes, it is."
Yes,
"No, it's not." "Yes, it is."
It's so good. So it's the next morning, and he is still there. He hears someone singing in one of the break room or one of the locker rooms, and it turns out that it's Jovi. He basically chimes in while she's singing, scares the shit out of her.
And it's weird. It's this song. This song is the song that has been like taken back and canceled because it's like,
it's the "Baby It's Cold Outside." Yeah.
Which I think people are reading a little too much into. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, it's just a Christmas. It's one of those songs. I don't know, but I don't know.
But yeah, he definitely creeps.
If Keith's canceled, let me know so I can find another co-host.
What? I'm not canceled. I'm not singing the song.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. So basically she freaks out. He runs into a wall and falls down. So it's now they are actually in the store, and it is the next day when Santa is supposed to be there. She basically says like, hey, why were you in the women's locker room? And she goes, oh, I just heard you singing and I came in. She says, you didn't have anything to do with the fact that I was naked in there. And he goes, I didn't know you're naked. It's just such a funny line. I don't know why, but he says it. He's like this dumb little look on his face. So Santa gets there. Buddy's super hype. He runs up to the front of him and leans in, and he says the famous line. Keith, what does he say?
Wait, what?
When he...
I feel like you just quizzed me, but I saw your mouth move, but I don't know what you just said.
So when Santa's there and he runs up to him and he approaches him and he's like, you're not Santa. What does he say? What does he say he smells like?
We're in the mall. I don't know. Like, I was still
we
wrapped on the Zooey Deschanel thing and how I was going to... I think it's because I had a fake fact for her.
You're just mulling at it.
Zoned out. Can I just say my fake fact?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so she didn't want to be... obviously, she's in the shower. And she didn't want to be like in the shower with a filmer, so she said, "I won't do it." So they actually CGI'd her face in like they did for Britney Spears' Instagram. That's what I heard.
But you led with this is a fake fact.
Yeah, I know, but it's fun that way because
that's a pretty good fake.
What
fact.
I've said that's fake and what's not. But
Except
you know how that
fake.
Britney Spears' Instagram is just her CGI'd face like on a body that's not hers. You know that she's been dead for years.
I'm not. I can't have this conversation.
Okay, well, that's true. Anyways,
that's just they want you to know.
It's a similar thing for this. She didn't want to, she didn't want to be like in a shower stall with like some weird dude with a camera. So she said, "I'm not doing that." So they CGI'd her face on. That's her voice, though.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So Artie Lang is the small Santa Claus, and there's a couple of things he says. The one good one is like, "You sit on a throne of lies."
Oh, Buddy says that. Yeah, he's like, "You're not Santa," and
he's like,
"Yeah, I am Santa."
He's like, "No, you stink," and he's like,
"You stink."
He's like, "You smell of beef and cheese.
You don't smell like Santa." I like that he quizzes him though. He's like, "If you're Santa, what song did Santa sing to me on my birthday?"
Like, happy birthday.
But he's like, "Damn it, he got it." It's just so stupid. I love it. So they get into it. He pulls off the fake Santa's beard. They get into a giant fight, and he is then thrown out. He's actually thrown into jail at this point, which is really fun. So he's in jail. He calls his dad, Walter Hobbs, to bail him out, and his dad actually shows up. This is because he gets in the mail. Buddy's kind of like walking around the department store a couple scenes back, and he sees it's like a lingerie section, and it says, "Get this for someone special." And so he buys it and ships it to his dad with the picture of his younger dad and his girlfriend at the time, and basically says like, "This is you guys, like you're my parents. Love, Buddy." But he has the little lingerie thing.
Well, he tries to hand deliver it first, right?
Yeah, and they throw him out again.
He was thrown out, so he ends up getting it to him.
Yeah. So he opens up the something special, and then he basically goes down to bail him out. And he has a really great line, which Buddy's walking out, and he said, "They gave me one phone call, and I said Walter Hobbs." And he's like, "They told me so many times you weren't going to come." It's just funny. So he ends up basically getting picked up by his dad. His dad ends up taking him to get a DNA test where Jon Favreau is the doctor, which I just thought was kind of silly. He pricks his finger in a really funny scene after he eats all the cotton balls. He just keeps eating. He's like, "Buddy, stop! Don't eat those." And he just keeps popping them in his mouth, which were undyed cotton candy. That's how they got that.
Oh. Yeah. I was honestly worried that Will Ferrell was eating cotton balls.
No,
because he just seems like a guy that would do that.
He would just do it. I agree, but no, this way they were undyed.
Now is that a fake fact or a real fact?
That's a real fact. Everything I'm saying is real fact.
Yeah, but how do they know that?
What do you mean? How do they know that?
Because you wouldn't tell them it was a lie.
What are you saying?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you're wild, dude. You're in a silly, goofy mood tonight.
No,
it's good. It's the Christmas spirit. It's taken over. So he finds out that he actually is his son after the little DNA test. So he brings him home. The doctor's like, "Just bring him home, have him meet Emily and his son and your son Michael. Like basically just have him hang out and he'll sort himself out basically." So he brings him home. Meets the family, and he's like, "Honey," he thinks he's an elf, and she's like, "No, he doesn't think he's an elf." He walks in, and the whole house is decorated. So what do you say?
Then he proceeds to drink an entire 2 liter of Coke, Which I was like, oh, this I might be like Buddy the Elf, because I would also chug a 2-liter
and then burps,
and then
like
he burps.
5 years.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, these are two things that I relate to.
Yeah.
Now the syrup on the pasta, I know that's not what you do.
No, dude,
you can't do that.
That's not delivery. That's DiGiorno.
Nah, you can do that on pancakes.
Do not sue us,
like,
DiGiorno.
Dude, come on, how did he do that?
Yeah. Well, they're cooking pasta, and Buddy goes, "Hey, can you pass the maple syrup?" She's like, "But it's spaghetti," and he's like, "Oh no, I actually have some." And he pulls into his little sleeve and pulls out a little emergency bottle of maple syrup. And he said that elves trying to stick to the 4 main food groups: candy cane, candy corn, what is it? Candy cane, candy corn, and syrup.
Yeah. So you have like a memory of an elephant.
And they don't forget shit.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, like, what else did you think I meant?
Be like, yeah, it's terrible.
No, I have like a deteriorating goldfish one, but like the goldfish is deteriorating too. Like, you ever have a goldfish that dies in the tank?
Yeah.
And it's like withering?
Yeah, and it's still just like its eyes are
tail's,
closed, but you
like,
didn't even know that a
disintegrating.
fish could close its eyes.
Yeah. It's like,
that's you.
It's like trying to eat the food still, but
you're just like a banged up goldfish.
Yeah.
Just bumping into the glass. You're like, oh my god.
Like Rocky Marciano as a goldfish.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't
great.
know what that means.
I don't know. It's funny though. So he ends up eating the spaghetti with maple syrup on it, which at the beginning of the movie, you know, when their buddy overhears the 2 elves talking about him.
Yeah.
So in the coffee pot, it's just a thing of maple syrup, which is really silly. They don't have a pot of coffee. They're like standing around the coffee, but it's just like a thing that says maple syrup on the side.
Oh,
they're just slamming syrup, which is
nothing gets by you, dude.
Yeah, dude. I'm laser focused today.
I better watch myself around you.
Yeah, dude. You're done. Your days are numbered.
Seriously.
I have the eyes of a hyena. And I don't know if they have good eyes, actually.
What?
Oh, that's right. Hyenas. That's good. That's right. So also, this is another fun fact. This is going back a little bit. The Jack in the Box, the little laugh, that was a recycled laughter that was used in Disneyland for the hyenas.
Do you know what it also reminds me of? You ever play Crash Bandicoot?
Yes.
The first boss has that same laugh.
Really?
That, like, I don't know. I can't do it.
It was basically an existing soundbite that they got from Disney.
So in the elephant
it could have
graveyard?
been, yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, that's the same. It's the same because I played that game so many times.
Yeah.
Is like, I rewound it. And I was like, oh, that's the same sound.
It's the same one.
Yeah.
So. I don't know. Is that one of your fake facts?
I don't know. I might have to have a lawsuit for Naughty Dog.
I don't know, dude.
They might have stolen from Disney. Let's get in the middle of that.
let's get a piece of that action. Yeah, that'd be
I'm
nuts.
just looking for 5%.
I gotta get like $5 for this.
I get a couple $100, you know.
Yeah, line my pockets.
Buy some more lottos. I'll get fucking big, dude.
They told me don't stop scratching. You know what I mean?
You know, Famous Phil, dude, or Phil.
Punxsutawney Phil.
Is that it?
Oh no, Gus is Gus. Why do I know that?
It's Gus.
It's Gus, dude.
Gus the groundhog.
Anywho, so Buddy slams a big thing of pasta with maple syrup on it, which he ate all of these things, like all the candy and all the gross stuff that he eats. Will Ferrell actually ate all that stuff
on the pasta.
Yes. So the next morning,
so you couldn't eat the cotton balls, but he did that.
Yeah. Okay. So the next morning, he basically is at the house, and his parents basically don't know what to do with him. So he's sitting around the house. He's making breakfast for himself, piles on a bunch of candy, a bunch of gnarly stuff, and he also ate that as well. Apparently, he got sick after that scene.
That's a shocker.
In a shocking turn of events. But basically, like he's just trying to live his life. So he ends up going to meet his brother Michael at school, and he basically is waiting for him. His brother gets out of school, and Buddy's like, "Hey, Michael." And he's like, his friends are like, "Do you know that guy?" And he's like, "Nah, I've never seen him before." He goes, "Michael, it's me, your brother." Which is just so silly. He's like, "God damn it." So he basically ends up following his brother home, and has heard a lot of really funny lines. He's like, "Hey, that's a puffy coat. Do you have a lot of friends? Do they have puffy coats too?" He's like, "Good news. I saw a dog today." And he's just like, he reminds me of just like a golden retriever as a person.
Yeah. Do you think that's what Will Ferrell's like in real life?
No.
Let's meet him.
Let's just go ahead.
Yeah.
Officially.
Like, I think he might be like that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not.
Know. Maybe.
All right. So what do you think about the hat that Michael's wearing?
That thing's
the funniest hat of all time. I hate that hat.
Yeah. I hope that hat's in a fire.
The brim beanie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I feel like the only other person I've seen wear that hat is Bam Margera in Viva La Bam. that is
but the thing about that is Bam has so many of that hat. I think Michael has one.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Bam has like the Doug Funny wardrobe just of his hats.
That's the second time with this Doug.
I can't believe you never watched Doug.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
All right, sorry.
So it's after school. They're walking through Central Park, or Buddy's following his brother through Central Park, and a group of bullies start hurling what I would say are hundreds of snowballs at them, and Buddy ends up winning over his brother by just absolutely destroying a bunch of kids.
Son of a nutcracker.
He gets hit in the face. So they end up bonding, and he was like, actually, that was pretty cool. They spend a whole day together. He ends up going back to Gimbel's, and they bump into Jovi.
I think they said, like, did we just become best friends?
Do you want to go do karate in Central Park? So they end up...
Oh, yeah. They see Jovi.
Yeah, they see Jovi. And he basically is like, oh, that's her. And he's like, why don't you go ask her out? I was like, what do you mean?
What does he say? He says, go ask
He's
her.
like, go out
ask
to
her
eat food?
Eat food?
He's like, it's like the code that women have. And Buddy goes up and he's like, do you want to eat food?
She's like, I just took my lunch break. And he's like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
She's like, but I'm free tomorrow.
He's like, oh, okay.
Oh. And then Michael's like,
he's like, you're in.
You're in.
But it's really funny. He's like, do you want to go eat food? She's like, do I want to eat food? He goes, the code. Which is really funny. But he has a really funny line where he's like, Michael's asks him, he's like, do you like her? And he's like, no, she's just really cool. And I feel really warm inside when I talk to her, and my tongue swells up.
What's the tongue swelling up? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I think he's just supposed
to get like marble. He's just like,
oh, maybe that's what it is. When you can't speak. Oh yeah, maybe that is your tongue swelling.
I don't know. Could you imagine if like he just went rogue and they were like, oh, all right, Will, now you're going to go up to Zooey Deschanel and talk to her, and he's like, I'm
a big fan.
Anywho, so it is now the kind of similarly, there's a scene that happens a little bit before it, but for continuity, it makes more sense to bring it up now. Walter's publishing company is their latest book flops because he basically signs off where there's 2 missing pages in it, like just out of a children's book that are just completely gone.
It's the
Lost
Puppy.
No, or are you thinking of the puppy who lost his way from Billy Madison?
No.
Never mind.
Isn't this about a puppy that can't get home?
It's about something. It's like a pigeon and a puppy. They escape the clutches of an evil witch or something.
Is that what it is?
But he basically signed. It's the head of the company comes down and is like, "You are getting sloppy. Like, I expect you to have another book idea ready to be pitched to me by Christmas Eve." And he's just kind of like, "All right, well, that's fine. I guess we got to do it." So Walter and his team, who is Andy Richter and Kyle Gass. Kyle Gass is from Tenacious D also. Shout out to that band.
Yeah, you like that.
I do like Tenacious D. And Andy Richter was Conan O'Brien's trusty assistant for many years on the Conan show. Just as like, they're both very funny people. So they are trying to see what they want to do. And Kyle Gass has the wonderful idea of calling in Miles Finch, who is, I guess he's supposed to be this like renowned ghostwriter of children's books. I think, what's his name? Andy Richter says he's written more classics than Dr. Seuss.
Did he says it just like that too?
Yeah, that is exactly how he says
it. Is the puppy and the pigeon, by the way.
The puppy and the pigeon?
Yeah. I knew it was a puppy.
Yeah,
something was lost. It was the pages that end the book.
It's the pages. Yeah, so what did you have?
But yeah, then is it before Miles comes that they're talking about all the different storylines they can do, and they're like talking about like the cucumber.
No, it's afterwards. After they.
It's when
it might be.
Oh no, it's when he leaves the book.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep going.
When he's like a tribe of.
He's like, a peach is vulnerable.
Yeah, he's like, I'm thinking he's had some tough times, birds and such. It's so
but they're talking about like what character the
main
character's
character
what kind of
would be.
fruit or vegetable is going to be.
Yeah,
So they're like,
and he's like, no small town. It's been done before. But yeah, so Miles, they end up getting Miles Finch's time at the same time at kind of while this is all going on, where they're trying to book him. Buddy the Elf goes to work with his dad, and his dad is basically done with him instantly. He has the famous, Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? When his phone rings, he answers it. He ends up sending Buddy down to the mailroom, which he describes it as the shiny mailroom, and mail comes from all over the world, and you get to touch all of it.
And he asked the guy when he gets down there, the guy next to him, he asks how he got there. He's like, work release.
work release. Which that guy, the dude looks like he's like 40 or something. He says he's 27 or 28 or something like that in that. But basically, Buddy goes down there. There's a lot of, he says, it kind of looks like Santa's workshop, only it smells funny and everyone looks like they want to hurt me, which is just a really great line.
It is awesome. It's like an underground, like,
yeah, it reminds me of this scene in, oh man, I was gonna say like The Matrix or something, when they're in just like a dirty club or something.
Oh, okay.
About? Yeah, kind of.
I was thinking Blade. Oh no, in The Matrix they are in a club at one point.
They're in it. They're big time in a club, dude.
It's like they're at Fight Club though. In a basement,
but it's Buddy the Elf's club. Anywho, so Buddy is basically, you know, a big hit. Everyone instantly likes him. It's kind of a theme, like a going theme. He kind of has this ability to just like spread cheer, and I think it's really funny. The guy that he's working with ends up putting alcohol in his coffee, and he's like, "Ooh, maple syrup and coffee." And he's like, "You might want to go easy with that." And he slams the whole thing.
Does he say like, "Why didn't I think of that?"
He's like, "Yeah, why didn't I think of that?" He's like, "I love maple syrup." He's doing like the two hand hold, and he's like, before he slams it. So then he's pretty drunk. They get a phone call. Walter gets a phone call saying like there's a disturbance in the mailroom, and it turns out that it's Buddy.
Yeah, but what do they do? What are they up to down there? They're something wild.
Dancing.
They're dancing. Yeah, it's like a nightclub down there.
Whoop there.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's doing the doing the
where you clap
the dance when you're on the ground and they kick your legs out, right?
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Hey!" Cheered him on and stuff. So he gets that while they're on the phone with Miles Finch trying to lock down a deal. They think it goes sour, but Miles Finch ends up saying like, "I'm coming." And he has a lot of really weird demands. Did you pick up on that?
Yeah.
He's like, it was a black SUV.
A black SUV, and what's the temperature?
It's like 76 degrees or something like that.
Oh, do I have it here?
It's really, really specific, like what he needs to be picked up in.
Yeah, and the temperature has to be just right.
Just right. And he's like, be there. 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Black SUV, 71 degrees or something like that.
You're like, all right, dude.
You're like, all right, dude, calm down. So he gets there, and it's played by Peter Dinklage. So he gets there, and they are end up having this wonderful meeting with him. It seems to be going well. They're talking about a lot of different book ideas. Keith, did you have any that you wanted to talk about?
I don't remember them vividly, but the peach one killed me.
Yeah.
Is it the peach on the farm?
It's like a small town. It's something about being on a farm. But I just remember he says, you know, he's having a lot of tough times, you know, birds and such. And he's basically like, Miles has this like wild insight into like all the newest trends that are children's books, which is just kind of funny.
Everybody's pushing small town rural.
Yeah, everyone's pushing small town rural.
No farms. Everybody's pushing small town rural. Farm book would be just white noise.
It's just wild. So while this is going on, there's a lot of like kind of jumping back and forth, but Buddy and Jovi finally go on their date, and it goes very well. They end up kissing, and it's just he's thrilled. So Buddy busts into the meeting halfway through after being on this wonderful date with Jovi, and he's basically like, "I'm in love. I don't care. Like, this is amazing." And the dad is like, "All right, buddy, we'll talk about this like afterwards." He sees Miles Finch, which this is actually dated. I watched this again, and I'm like, this is kind of wild. But he's basically like, "Oh, I didn't know like that you had elves here." And Peter Dinklage has dwarfism, so he basically is like, "I didn't know Santa's like, does Santa know you're here?"
It's like, did you have to borrow a reindeer to get down here?
Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, we're all just laughing our heads off, but
I need more action in a week than you've had in your entire life."
Yeah. He's like, "I have houses in 3 or something like that." Do you have the line?
Paris, and Vale. And each one a 70-inch plasma screen, which at the time
that was huge,
insanely.
Yeah. Now they're
huge.
giving them away at Walmart. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
You feel strong, my friend? Call me elf one more time.
And he's an angry. He's angry. Or doesn't he say he must be a South Pole?
Well, he says that. I think he says that before, but he's an angry elf is the last thing he says, because that's when he
charges him, kicks him, and then basically is like, he has him in a chokehold. And he's like, "Call me elf one more time." Buddy thinks that he actually wants him to call him an elf, and he's just basically like, "Okay, you're an elf, fine." And He gets mad and storms out.
But he leaves his book.
He finds his notebook, which is insane.
I love when they're looking through the notebook. They're like, "Oh, this is chock full ideas.
This is chock full.
Let's storyboard.
Let's storyboard."
Those two guys together,
they're awesome.
They're in there for
awesome.
like 3 whole minutes. But
every one of their scenes is gold.
Oh
though.
my god!
So he basically Miles leaves and Walter blows up and says like, "I don't care that you're my son. I never want to see you again. Like, get the hell out of here." Basically,
everybody's just kind of like,
this is awkward.
I think you should have said that. That wasn't that cool.
So Buddy goes and writes the apology on the Etch-a-Sketch. You remember that scene?
Yeah.
And it's like, "I'm sorry I ruined your lives, and I'm sorry I crammed 5 cookies into the VCR." And he's just like, basically saying like, "I'll leave you all alone." I think I read somewhere that it was supposed to be a nod to "It's a Wonderful Life," but I don't know if that's accurate. That whole scene where he's like reminiscing or something.
Oh yeah. I think it is.
I might just be coincidence though. I don't know. But anyway,
I think it is.
So, kind of unfazed Walter, they scramble to get a book together. They find to get a storyboard together, like a pitch for his boss. This is now Christmas Eve. They find Miles Finch's notebook, and then they start reading through it. And they find that what did he say? He's like, and you know what his best idea? It's about a peach who lives on a farm. What's more vulnerable than a peach? It's just, and so basically they end up going with it.
Oh yeah, because earlier Miles Finch said
he's too vulnerable. Too vulnerable. But the other idea that he throws out, which is just really wild, he says it's a tribe of asparaguses who are self-conscious about the way their pee smells.
Oh, so I will say,
which is wild. It's so funny as a children's book.
So there is a nod to "It's a Wonderful Life," and it's what you're talking about, but where he's like, he's on that like voyage, and he's like, "I don't belong anywhere." He's standing at the bridge.
Oh yeah,
which is insinuating, pretty dark. Game over.
Exactly.
Which is kind of crazy for a kids movie. So we can just edit that.
We can just cut all that. Neat. So they end up getting a storyboard together to pitch to Greenway, which is his boss. He works for Greenway Publishing. But his son Michael shows up in the middle of the meeting and is like, "I can't find Buddy. I don't know where he is. I'm really worried about him. He left this note." And basically realizing that he messed up, Walter decides to like, "Hey, I'm sorry, but I got to help my son. Like, I got to go get him." And he says, while he's going to look for Buddy, his boss says, "If you leave here, you're finished at Greenway." And he's basically like, "Up yours." That's exactly what he says.
He's like, "Don't talk to my son like that."
Yeah, because the boss yells at his son and he's like, "Hey, you're gonna have to come back, kid."
And he's like, "Don't talk to my son like that."
Hey, don't talk to my son.
And he says, "Up yours," and then his son also says, "Yeah, up yours." And he's like,
"Hey," he's like, "Yo, dude, come on, fucking chill." So they basically scrambling to find him. Buddy ends up at the same time they see Santa's sleigh kind of struggling, would you say, over Central Park.
Yeah,
it ends up crashing, and Buddy is like, "Oh, I gotta go find him." So he ends up coming up on him, and he realizes that it is in fact Santa, and he crash landed. It's just, that whole scene is really funny too, because it's a big crowd, and then there's like the news people, and they were like, "God. The photo of this man has been seen," and it's like the famous Bigfoot picture of Buddy. Like walking through. And then he's basically trying to evade the park rangers, and they're like Central Park Rangers.
They're like a crazy, like, I don't even know what you describe them. How they're like a SWAT team.
Yeah, it's nuts. They're all like decked out on horses, and Santa goes, "They've been trying to." Oh no, he's like, it's the Central Park Rangers. Basically, Santa also says a really funny line where he's like, "Buddy, you got to keep this like under wraps." He goes, "The paparazzi have been trying to nail me for years." It's just such a great line. But he explains that unfortunately his sleigh couldn't fly due to lack of Christmas spirit. So at the very beginning of the movie, his Papa Elf kind of explains how the sleigh works. He says he's like, "This baby's been running hasn't been running off of Christmas spirit since the 70s or something like that." It's just so funny. So he has to find the engine. While this is all going on, he finds it, puts it back on, and then he basically is trying to get people to believe in Santa again so that he can fly. I think it's his son ends up stealing Michael. They kind of find Santa. Michael and Walter meet Buddy. They meet Santa Claus. He basically is like, "How are you really?" Like Michael asks, "How do I know you're really Santa?" And he goes, "Oh, like, what did you want? Like, open up the book and see what you want." And he's like, "Yeah, I asked for a skateboard." So he gets him the skateboard, or it's a huff board, excuse me. But there was something really cool. You know when he pulls open the book and it says all the names? like where it says his name and like skateboard and stuff. The other names in there are people that were on the crew for this movie.
Oh, that's cool.
This is like so they basically like pick their name and then put what they wanted. So he steals the book. Michael steals the book, brings it to the news, and is like, Santa's really out there. Like, we got to help him. People need to believe. And they're all kind of clowning him. And the news anchor, is this what you're going to say? Did you have this line? Here, you want to talk about it?
What's your name? And she says, Charlotte Denon, New York 1.
New York 1.
Charlotte Denon wants a Tiffany engagement ring and for her boyfriend to stop dragging his feet and commit already. She's just like,
oh my. And just as that happens, the sleigh lifts off the ground a little bit, basically, which is just such a funny scene.
And And then what's the quote that he says, like, to the whole crowd? My brain is not comprehending.
I mean, he basically just says like Santa's out there, like his sleigh won't fly because people don't believe anymore.
I thought he says something like right before the singing starts. He says something like this prolific line.
I don't think so. I could be wrong. I don't know. Someone reach out if we're wrong.
Like my brain is like
yeah. But then Jovi gets there and he's like, I need you to help me like get Christmas spirit. And she echoes back a line that he said earlier in the movie. The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
That's exactly what
That's not profound. He wasn't like, men, as we approach.
What do you mean? That's like the line.
I thought you were getting ready to say like the orders of the day from D-Day.
No, that's the line. That is the line from the movie. And like I just couldn't connect. The words. So say it again.
The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just made me look like a buffoon.
No.
I say it one more time.
The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Okay.
And then they all start singing as Santa is taken off the runway. They notice that Walter is not singing, and he's like, Dad, you actually have to sing. He's like, fine. And they belts out the last line just as Santa comes over top of him. And because he's, I guess, the final guy, he was one guy away from, being able to fly, which is kind of wild. But, yeah. And then he flies off, and then they're like, yep, buddy saved Christmas.
I will say I get a little misty-eyed every time Zoe starts singing in the crowd.
Yeah. She's a great voice.
She's really good.
She sang, I think there was like 3 songs that she sang. She actually re-recorded one of these. She actually put out a Christmas album. And I think it was Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Well, that's the song that she sings to raise Christmas cheer. So it's the following Christmas. I think this is like flashing forward a little bit. They realize that Buddy and Jovi got married. They end up having a kid. Walter publishes a book called Buddy the Elf, and he's publishing under his own like publishing thing, and they're all just kind of like one big happy family. And they're, I think it's funny, they're basically splitting their time between the North Pole and New York. They're like, oh, go visit Grandpa, and they like fly up to the North Pole and stuff. And yeah, and then that's just kind of the end of the movie. It's very wholesome.
It is wholesome.
I like the ending of this movie a lot.
Wait, and you said that they're writing the book Buddy the Elf, right?
Yeah,
you said that. Okay.
Yeah,
I know you said it, but I'm not.
And you find out. I think it's also like the whole story was Papa Elf reading that book back, which is kind of a cool way to tie it all together. And that is frickin' Elf.
That's such a good movie. We somehow didn't say the quote cotton-headed ninny muggins, but that's something. I feel like that's a big one.
Yeah, that was a big one.
He's like, I'm a cotton-headed ninny muggins.
Everyone's like, oh my God.
It does sound like a bad word. It just does not sound like a word that anyone should say.
No.
Like, it's fine. It's like a cute
it's fine.
Cute little kids, whatever. But it just sounds bad.
It sounds terrible. So... yeah, that line is after he basically fails out of being an elf. And he said, I'm the worst elf ever. Face it, I'm a cotton-headed ninny muggins. And all of them are like, yeah, that's a good one. Did you have anything else for this movie? I feel like I sprinkled a lot of stuff in throughout. I don't know if there's any other fun facts or any quotes you wanted to talk about.
Nah, I think we covered most of it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I really liked Artie Lang as the mall Santa.
Yeah.
And this movie came out the same year as Bad Santa. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but that's a really funny
it's
movie
funny,
too.
I remember they're very different, but I remember seeing. I think I might have seen that one first somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Same year, so I don't know what I saw first, but it's just funny that very different Christmas movies.
Yeah, that's a funny movie though, Bad Santa.
And I really like the North Pole in this one.
Yeah, like the cartoon style and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, with who's the snowman up there? Leon
the Snowman.
Mr. Narwhal, Arctic Puffin.
Yeah.
Yeah? Not now, Arctic Puffin.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
That's another one I like.
Yeah, that was Jon Favreau that did that voice, too.
That makes a lot of sense. Because it does sound like him. Just like a deeper version.
Just deeper. But yeah, that's an iconic one.
Yeah, I say that one a lot. Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? I think these are just the standard ones that people say.
Yeah.
And then...
why don't you go back to Gimbals?
That's what you say?
All constantly.
Yeah, you're always... I know you're always saying that. Ooh, he's an angry elf. That one.
Ooh, he's an angry elf. But yeah, this is a good one. Did you have anything else before? I think we should wrap this one up. I'm happy to put a bow on this one.
Yeah, I think that's it. What is there anything else? I'm trying to think if there's anything that I was like
blown away by. Is there any? Are we ready for the quote to ring us out?
I mean, you know the quote. I
don't know the quote.
Oh my god, you said.
Oh, this was there was
pull the quote out of you.
There was one that something that I thought was cool. The Will Ferrell rejected. They were going to try and do a sequel to this movie in 2014. And Will Ferrell said that is a very dumb idea
because he saw what happened when they did Anchorman 2.
Yeah,
we don't need to do that. Trust me. I've been there.
I've been there, buddy.
Wait, did this movie come out the same year as Anchorman?
No, I thought Anchorman was earlier.
No,
I could see.
Think so.
I don't know. Anchorman 2004. This came out before Anchorman.
Okay, I knew it was right around there.
Yeah, but I mean, I think...
Yeah, but he saw what happened with that, so he's like, yeah, trust me, we don't need to do this. I promise you.
Yeah.
Just let this go.
Just let it die.
I think that's why it's so good. They didn't
He said that this was one of those movies, like, after they made it, and he saw that it was kind of becoming, like, what it is now, like something that's played every year as, like, a Christmas movie. He was like, why do we need to do a second one? Yeah. He called, which I think was pretty cool. He turned down the offer, basically saying, like, I don't need to get paid. Like, respectfully, I don't need this. And I think he just, which I feel like if it were a lesser or not as well-known actor, I think they probably would have done it.
But they also, like, they did the Elf the Musical.
And they did do Elf the Musical.
The animated one, which I've never seen.
I didn't know they did an animated Elf.
It was like 2014. Yeah.
Huh.
Elf,
interesting.
Buddy's Musical Christmas. It's obviously it's like even more for kids. It was just like it's probably like an hour TV special or something.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know what the deal is. I know it's probably connected. I don't think it's the same. Oh, it's the same. Is it the same story? It says it. He travels to New York to meet his father, Walter Hobbs.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, I guess it is the same.
Gilbert. Oh my God, Gilbert Gottfried is the boss, though.
Oh my God,
dude.
R.I.P. That
Mark
guy was
Hamill
wild.
is Walter Hobbs.
Really?
That's pretty hell? Wild. I might have to. Fred Armisen's in it. I might have to just watch this just for the voice actors.
Yeah, that is.
Sorry, you were trying to end
funny.
this. But the musical would be cool.
That would be pretty fun. What was I going to say? Yeah. So what quote are we?
Dude, you know the quote. You made me look stupid on air. Everyone
the best
saw
way to
it.
sing. Oh, is it that one?
Yeah. What else?
Everyone saw it.
Everyone saw it. Everyone's like, oh, he's
what
stupider
an
than
idiot.
we thought he was.
All right, fine. Say the quote. Say the fucking quote then.
Hey, you say it.
It's your thing to say the quote to end.
I know.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
The best way to
spread
Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Yay! Happy Honda days, everybody. Do not sue me, please. All right, hold on. I'll edit that out.
No, that was cool. Happy Honda days.
Happy Honda.
I thought you just stumbled through, but then I realized what you did.
No, it's like the Toyota-thon. Happy Honda days.
That's really a thing. Huh?
Merry Chrysler.
Those are all things.
Honda days. Happy Honda days is definitely something.
That's it. Okay.
That's definitely something.
It sounds like it should be.
Oh yeah. Anyway, until next time, everyone. Thanks.